Shalom, Yashrala. This your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rachach Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here lesson. Possibly I might do a series on this, but nevertheless, this is something I was meditating on the other day, going through reading the scriptures and coming across, different accounts of us going into captivity, and us being taken down by the enemy and things like that, reading through the scriptures, and visualizing these things, and visualizing, bringing all those, the accounts from back in the, in the scriptures, visualizing that happening today and what that would be like today, and it's pretty much, it's a really scary vision, and come to think about, what the scriptures say that, this time that's coming is going to be like a time like never before, since there was a nation on the face of the earth, even into the same time. So you have to take into account of these different events, that has happened, that was recorded in the scriptures. All right. And the other historic events that we know about, and just try to visualize what would this be like if it happened today, And so, like for instance, we'll actually get the account, of, the Babylonians came in and wound up burning down our, pretty much burning every damn thing down, But nevertheless, imagine if that was going on today, with, let's say, martial law, the U.S., martial law troops come out and they quarantine off your city. You can't go in and can't go out, and they just burn down your whole neighborhood with you in it, Now, you may think that this is far-fetched, but think about this. You have situations like the Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Rosewood here in Florida. All right, you have a couple different locations like that where and history where these Edomites came through and destroyed, where Jake was living, burned it down and sacked everything, in modern day times. This isn't talking about ancient days in the Bible. We talking about here in America. All right. But nevertheless, I'm going to just go ahead and jump into some of these here scriptures. But nevertheless, as I'm reading some of these things, visualize this happening today in modern day today. All right. These accounts and these different things going on today, what it would be like today in your normal neighborhoods and your cities, just think about, like, let's say you live over there in Chicago, where they show you those videos of what they call Chirac. Just imagine that area being quarantined off and troops just going through burning down buildings, going through rifling the houses, and just pulling people out and putting bullets into their heads, But nevertheless, let's jump into these scriptures. This is Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 5. Salak, give me 1 second. All right, Salakia. We're going to start here, Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 5. It says, "For thus saith Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace," Because this is what modern day Christianity has pushed onto our people, They have our people thinking that, I'll use the name Jesus, because this is the name and the spirit that they have our people in, When Jesus come back, it's going to be flowers and hugs and kisses, all the corruption and all the wickedness that's in the in the planet Earth, is going to cease. Soon as he cracked the clouds and he show his face, the long, stringy, blonde hair, blue eyes, white skin. Soon as you see his appearance of his face, the whole world at a snap of a finger just going to be in peace. Everything's going to be good, All of your sins, all your wickedness, everything that's going on is just going to just at a snap of a finger just be clean to turn righteous, This is the mindset that our people are in because of the fact of Christianity, modern day Christianity and following after Jesus, Oh, just, whenever tribulation or you on your deathbed coming, just say, "Oh, I believe in Jesus," and everything will be all right. Everything that you've done is just going to be, X out of the way. If you just say, "Oh, I believe in Jesus," right before you die, somebody about to put a bullet in your head and "Oh, I believe in Jesus." And then now all of a sudden everything is all good for you, and you could just rest and go into to heaven and everything is all good, But no, this is contrary to the scriptures, man. All right. The scripture here saying Jeremiah 30 verse 5 says, "For thus saith Yahweh, all right, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace." All right. So when who the world only calls Jesus Christ, all right, whose real name is Yahweh, when he comes back, man, there's going to be a state of chaos on the planet Earth, man. All right. And not only that, he's going to turn it up even more. All right. It's not going to be, we're going to be in a state of chaos and calamities. But when he returns, it's like, he coming to set a fire. But what? The fire already going to be started. You see what I'm saying? But nevertheless, continuing on, it says, Jeremiah 30 verse 5 again, it says, "For thus saith Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling and of fear, not of peace." All right. So when the Lord comes back in the midst of all, When the time of the Lord comes back, right before that point in time, we're going to be going through what they call Jacob's trouble, all right, which we're getting into right now. But nevertheless, you have to visualize the state of wherever you at. But nevertheless, here in Babylon, you have to how do I say, visualize the state of Babylon, and what out of all these different things that's coming here to Babylon. It's not just chaos, race wars, economic collapse, famine. All right, it's not just war coming. It's all of these things are coming all at the same time, man. Not just that, pestilence and all kind of different things coming here. All right, chariots. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna use the word, if you of the uninitiative, all right, and you don't know what these chariots are, or what you call UFOs. If you think of them as UFOs, then hey, this is gonna be the icing on the cake, man. You're gonna be trembling because you ain't got no food. Martial law troops running through on your ass. Economic collapse. You don't know how you're gonna feed your family. Now all of a sudden you got so-called UFOs to deal with, man. All right. So it's a voice of trembling and of fear, not of peace, man. This is the day of the Lord that we're talking about, man. All right. How do I say? Right before Yahushua make his return, man, we're gonna be in a midst of chaos, man. All right. This is something that you have to visualize. All these movies that you watch, like The Purge and all these different types of movies like this, man, you can roll all of that into one, man. And all these historic events, these atrocities in history you could think about, roll this all into one and bring this into modern day times, man. Because a lot of the accounts of these atrocities that you hear about back in the olden days, they didn't have the type of weaponry that they have nowadays, man. All right, because ultimately this place is gonna be washed away with thermonuclear fire, man. All right, so just imagine that, man. And in the space of an hour, man, all the millions of people that's just gonna be burnt up, turned into nuclear pile of ash, man. But before that, you got Jacob's trouble, martial law coming, man. And when they come down, man, they got all these billions of rounds of hollow point tip rounds. All right, they're gonna be letting loose, man. Like the scripture said, the devil know he has but a short time. All right, so he's gonna bring out all his stops on you, man. All right. It says, verse 6, ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces turn to paleness, because you got a lot of people out right now just, either A, believe that this isn't going to come to pass. Oh, America's the greatest country. This can't happen here. They've always said that, but it's not going to happen here. A lot of these people are just deflecting their own fears. They're just trying to push that off, You have some people, I see people like this all the time. Like, how come you're not more cautious in life with whatever you're doing, man? You keep doing that, whatever it is that you're doing, you might wind up falling in that, You keep taking these chances, whatever, whatnot. But deep down inside, man, these people are, they really fear these things, but they try to ignore it. And that ain't gonna happen. Like modern day, the new spirit that's going out. Oh, you always talk about negativity. Well, I don't want to hear about this negativity. But in the back of your mind, there's a possibility of this, but you're trying to run from this, man. All right, and you don't want to so-called face it. But in that day, man, it's gonna take you by how do I say, not by surprise, but it's gonna be like a goddamn flood, man. You're gonna be surrounded with all these plagues and calamities coming down the pipeline that you ain't gonna have nothing. You're not gonna have any choice but to have to deal with these things, man. All right, and so especially with those type of people that's trying to ignore all these things, man. All right, their greatest fear is gonna come to pass, man. You see these types of people. I ain't worried about that. I ain't worried about that. You have, for instance, let's just say, for example, I done seen this, and I know a lot of you brothers have seen this as well. You're working on a job, and 9 times out of 10 is another Jake just doing this, always coming into work late, always being lazy, you know what I'm saying, just sitting around doing nothing, right? Like, man, you always just sitting around doing nothing, always on your phone. Now, the boss be coming around the damn corner and shit, you know what I'm saying? You might want to not be on your phone all goddamn shift, you know what I'm saying? But complaining about how you tight on money right now and can't pay your bills. Now, the boss come around the corner and shit, your ass get fired, But you looking at this in person, you thinking like, damn, this motherfucker don't really care about his job like that. He ain't worried about getting fired. Like, you ain't got bills and shit. Your little social media apps is way more important than this damn job. All right. But then he wound up going to go get fired or whatever, whatnot. It's like, you didn't see this shit coming, but deep down inside of his mind, he was like, yeah. But then they'll try to make any kind of excuse. But in reality, they understand what the hell going on the whole time, man. All right. But you also have these other men that's got that pride on them. Oh, yeah, we're gonna take it out, whatever, whatnot. We got guns. I got money. I got whatever, whatnot. I got my bunker, my doomsday prep, whatever, whatnot, man. But you have no idea what's coming, man. The Most High has created the perfect storm, man. All right, you're gonna be hit. You're gonna be basically how do I say, being besieged on all sides round about, man. All right, you're gonna have a famine, a lack of food, a lack of bread, which is gonna turn first of all, you're gonna have an economic collapse, which could turn into a famine, which is still gonna be a famine anyway. All right, which is gonna turn into what? A bunch of sedition among men, man. Where they're going to be spoiling each other for a lack of bread, man. Just for some food, they're going to be killing each other, man. You see how Jake got down over that goddamn Popeye's chicken sandwich, man? You see how Jake was tripping in the beginning of this year when the government was shut down. They wasn't getting food stamps, man. All right. Nevertheless, just imagine when, also here in Florida, man, you see sometimes when hurricanes come and people start evacuating and the gas run out, and they limit you to, 1 case of water or like 4 gallons of water from the store, man. And people are in line fighting and whatever, whatnot over, last thing of water, whatever, whatnot. They trying to send their kids in line and people, no, that's their kid. They fighting over this, and this ain't the end of the world, These are, how do I say, temporary things, It's just like the difference between you and your house. And there's a storm outside and the power go out. You know that the power going to eventually come back on. You ain't really stressing as far as somebody who just spent their last little $2 to get their child something to eat. And, the light bill is past due yesterday and you ain't going to get paid for another month or whatever, whatnot. Now you thinking, damn, man, the light's going to be off for a good long while. That person in that scenario, knowing that it's going to be for a long time, is in a way worse situation than somebody who's in the middle of a storm and the power go out. They're not that worried about it. But well, eventually the power going to come back on, man. We're not going to be out of power for a whole fucking month or nothing like that, man. We're going to, it might be a couple hours. Worst come to worst, we might be out of power, overnight or whatever, whatnot. But it's going to come back on. This is just what happens in the middle of a storm, man. All right. But what you have a lot of people right now that's in a pride, that don't think that these things can happen. They think that they're going to be able to bounce back. But again, it's going to hit you with that perfect storm, man. All these things hitting you all at the same time, man. You're not going to know what to do, man. It's going to be hitting you from all ends. From all sides, man. All right. Verse 6 again. Ask ye now, see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail and faces turned to paleness. All right. That's because of the fear and not just fear of like, oh, somebody finna kill me, but not just that, the fear of death, man. Where am I, you got a family, mother, father, and some kids, little kids, 5-year-old, whatever, whatnot. Father done lost his job, mother done lost their job. They start selling shit around the house to make up for food or whatever, whatnot, They drop down to eating ramen noodles and shit like that, And there's a video on YouTube that's kind of explaining these type of scenarios, like a what if scenario, And it's a pretty scary thought. They think that this would never happen, whatever, whatnot. They don't want to try to cut in corners. The father eventually agreed to let his daughter go out to prostitute herself to go, make enough money to bring back some medicine to heal their sick little sister. The hospitals ain't going to work, man. You're not, a lot of crazy shit's going to be popping off, man. All right. So you're going to have this type of fear going on. Father can't feed his kids, see the newborn baby, whatever, whatnot, see his wife want, you can't take your eye off your wife for 2 seconds because somebody might snatch her up or your kids, Every person that you come across is a potential enemy, man. They either trying to kill you to get food, water, guns, something like that, because in this point in time, everything is going to be at an all-out collapse, man. All right. Verse 7, alas, for that day is great so that none is like it. All right. There's no other time, no other event, nothing else in a planet Earth that's going to be like this here time, man. All right. It says, it is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. All right. And that's talking about what? The elect of Israel is going to be saved up out of this. All right. So we're going to go to the book of Daniel. This is Daniel chapter 12, verse 1. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, that great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble such as never. Salak. And there should be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And we just read about this time of trouble, which is known as what? Jacob's trouble. All right. Or you could think about this as like the all out purge, man, because this is visually what it's going to be like, man. All right. But it's going to be 1,000 times worse than the purge. In a purge scenario, you just got all the citizens just battling it out with each other, man. But imagine when you got the citizens battling it out with each other, the police battling it out with the citizens. And then on top of that, you actually got the government arm, the military, National Guard coming in on top of that, man. All right. So, you can't even call 911. Like, oh, we need some help. We got some people outside surrounding our house or whatever, whatnot, man. You're going to have all these things, beating on you from every side, man. And even if you don't have those problems, man. Imagine when the sun come up and you got to go out, go looking for food, man. You don't want to leave your household and your kids or whatever, whatnot behind because why? Somebody could come in and take advantage of them, take them hostage, trade them off for some food or something, right? See your little young daughter, your little 15-year-old daughter or whatever, whatnot, just now starting to develop and things like that, man. All right. But now, you got to go out, go looking for food. And while you out looking for food, somebody came break into your house, man. You got this little bandit full of a band of bandits come through. You know what I'm saying? They come take up your little 15-year-old daughter and rape her ass to death, man. All right. Take your little children or whatever, whatnot. Just put their ass to death, man. See your wife, have their way with her and put her ass to death, man. You come back after going out to go find some food for your whole family. Come to find out they all been raped to death and been brutally murdered inside of your house, man. All right, this is the type of fear that's gonna be falling upon the faces of these people, man. Because why? You know, the one problem they think they having is, well, we just got a lack of food. We got to go out and go find food. Food is kind of scarce. Now you got to think about everybody else is coming out just to kill you, you know? Oh, this motherfucker got a minivan, or this motherfucker got a vehicle that still work and still got gas in it. Let's go kill this motherfucker for his minivan. You seen that in that movie, The World of Worlds, with Tom Cruise. You know, they still had a vehicle that was still working and had a gun, but they was driving through a massive crowd of people, and everybody wanted this one vehicle to so-called try to escape, to get away from this massive crowd of people, you know, because the car, you can get a lot further than being on foot, you know. But nevertheless, you know, they was, how do I say, so surrounded by this big mob of people, they couldn't really go so far. Then the mob of people started breaking the windows of the van, snatching the children up out of there, you know, and he had to make a decision whether I abandon the van and go after my daughter, you know, and then at the same time of that, somebody's trying to snatch up my son. You know, you got two kids, you got to keep your eye on both of them, plus the van that you in, and your hand on the gun at the same time. You can't, man. So homeboy is in a situation, well, I got a car, it still work. I got gas in my car, and I got a gun. I'm way better off than everybody else. Yeah, but you're a main target now because you got the essential needs that everybody else is looking for. You in the midst of a crowd of people that's looking for those needs, man. And you seen what happened in that video, man. They wind up snatching him out the vehicle, wind up getting the gun from him. One person get the gun, fire the gun in the air. The crowd of people move back a little bit. They hop in the car, start pulling off. Somebody else snatch them up out the damn car, get the gun from him, blow his brains out, shoot the gun off. Crowd back up, he hop in the van, and it's a repeat process to the damn gun run out of bullets. Then they just swarm the van, and everybody's fighting over the van. Now you can't even go nowhere because everybody's trying to get in the van anyway, man. It's an all-out battle royale, man. So just imagine if you was Tom Cruise and seeing all this here going on, and you just trying to, you know, how do I say, protect your children, man. All right, and and you don't know when this is gonna pop off. You could be at work trying to get home to your children, or your children might be in school and you trying to get to your children, man. Just think back to 9/11, man. That was a normal Tuesday. I believe it was a Tuesday morning. The normal Tuesday morning, whatever, whatnot, man. Just imagine, you know, I was down here in Florida. Have a lot of family up in New York, man. When it happened, you know, we was watching a little bit of it on TV. We all turned the TV on, watch it on TV. But nevertheless, you know, I remember that day like it was clear as day, man. Everybody, mama came to get them from school. My mama came and got me from school and immediately flew out to up north, you know, up to New York because of the fact of we got family up there, you know, and then got stuck up there because they shut down our flights. All right. But nevertheless, you know, imagine if you was in those schools up there. I had a cousin, you know, a couple relatives that they couldn't get in contact with because the cell phone towers was down. All right. And they worked in the city. They didn't live in the city and they had to take the trains to get back and forth. So they was stuck downtown, you know. You don't know if your loved one is okay or not. But just imagine if your children are so-called downtown in the area wherever the situation is popping off and you're trying to get to them and everything's being quarantined off. Now you can't get to your children's school or whatever, whatnot, you know. Or let's just say with these massive shootings at the schools, man, that's like a parent's worst fear. To hear about a shooting at the school, first reaction is, let's get down to the school. But what? The area has been quarantined off. You don't have any information about if your child is alive or if your child's dead. You just know there's casualties at the school, man. All right? But just imagine all this going off all at once, man, when the police become your enemy, the military become your enemy. No, we not letting nobody cross the bridge or whatever, whatnot. You're like, well, my daughter just got kidnapped. Help. She's being kidnapped in that car. You running up to the police to go get some help, and they just immediately put your ass down, man. They're like, oh, hold up, man. Everybody's the enemy, man. You don't approach us like this. We don't give a damn what your scenario is like, man. You're gonna get put down immediately, man. Because these are the times that we coming into, man. And you see these police being hyper militarized with these MRAP vehicles and things like that, man. This is all they being prepared for this moment in time of martial law or Jacob's trouble, man. All right. Let me go from there to the book of this is Matthew chapter 24, verse 21 and 22. It says, "For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world, no, nor ever shall be." So again, this is going to be that time, man. And it's that, you know, these prophecies have not come to pass yet, because you got to think about it, man. We all understand, according to prophecy, two big major horrific prophecies come to pass if you exclude Jacob's trouble, right? You have what you call World War III, Armageddon. Then you also have the chariots returning and coming to do damage. All right. So first of all, you ain't never seen an all-out nuclear war, man. You seen America drop 2 nuclear bombs on Japan. That was it. All right. Which that was horrific, but that was just 2 nuclear bombs that they dropped. You know, World War II was very deadly, but they wasn't really dropping. They only dropped 2 nuclear bombs in there. All right. But nevertheless, just imagine now you have all these nuclear powers mounting up and how do I say upgrading they nuclear arsenal right now, man. They got laser weapons, they got drones, they got robots, all kind of crazy shit, man. So just imagine AI, all this new technology and stuff, man. Just imagine when they let all this here shit loose, man. And they got DARPA robots chasing you down, man. Go look that up. The DARPA cheetah. You know what I'm saying? This bitch can run like 70 miles an hour. All right, they got like the DARPA dog. You know what I'm saying? They can put guns on these shit. Motherfucker, you can't outrun no goddamn. You ain't outrunning no shit that runs 70 miles an hour, man. And even if, let's just say you in a car or some shit, man, just think about it. This shit is way more agile than your ass, man. You got a bunch of these coming at your ass, man. All right, you got miniature drones, nano drones. You got all kind of shit, like what they try to hit Nicolas Maduro with. They had a goddamn drones the size of your cell phones with wings on them bitches. You know what I'm saying? Come flying through on your ass and just explode on you, man. All right, just imagine that, man. You running from a swarm of goddamn killer drones, man. Like a swarm of killer drones flying at your ass, man. All right, with a small explosive inside of that bitch that could blow your ass up, man. All right, or a swarm of not nanobot. Well, shit, a swarm of nanobots, man. All right, or they got another name for these other. They're not as small as nanobots, but they like I guess microbots, like the little mosquito and shit like that, man. The little mosquito and the little bee and shit like that, man. A swarm of these shits coming at your ass, man. There's a movie that kind of depicted that, where it was like you know, they had like one of these big ass planes, the military planes, where you get all the guys parachute out the back of the planes. They're like, yeah, for $70,000, we could drop like 100 to 200 something thousand little small ass drones with explosives out the back of this here plane, and hey, they seek and destroy, man. You see what I'm saying? It'd be nothing to put down the whole goddamn city in a day's worth of work, man. 8 hours, we just released 200,000 drones over the city and then see what happened, man. These bitches gonna go on a goddamn warpath, man. You running from that in the air. You also run from men on the ground that's trying to kill you, snatch you up for your food or whatever, whatnot. The police, you can't run to them because they trying to snatch your ass up too, man. These are the times that's coming, man. You got to think about all the things that's happened in the past and roll that all into one, and then add on top of all of that this new modern day technology and weaponry that they got, man. All right, thermonuclear warfare, man. We've had wars, all kind of wars and world wars with somewhat modern day technology, but we ain't ever had an all out thermonuclear war, man. You ain't never seen no whole, well, with Japan, it ain't the whole city, but a big portion of Nagasaki and Hiroshima was you know, devastated by that. And those, in comparison, those bombs is just like, yo, that shit was on like 1% or 0.1% comparably with the shit they got nowadays, man. All right. But nevertheless, hey, man, these are the times we be coming into, man. It's going to be a time like never before, from the time there was a nation even to the same time, man. All right. So let me go to a couple accounts real quick. This is quite a bit right here, but nevertheless, I'm gonna try to read through this kind of quick. But nevertheless, because this is like the whole chapter I want to read. I may or may not read the whole chapter, but just some certain points in here, you know, to visualize. Imagine this happening. Take this same account, okay, which has happened to us before. All right, which if this has happened to us before, all right, you got to think the things that we're slowly or rapidly approaching. This is gonna be like a 1 on a scale of 1 of 100, comparably to what we're coming into, man. This is child's play, man. This is, you know, this is like, you know, every kid think that going to school is kind of hard, man. Every grade that you in, you know, it's supposed to be challenging to you. You know, you're not supposed to be in no grade and just like, I know all of this shit. This is cakework, you know. You do have some really, really smart kids, but you know, when you send a kid to like first grade or whatever, whatnot, they got to learn their ABCs and how to write or whatever, whatnot. They don't just automatically know that, right? So every grade is somewhat challenging unto them, right? Same way with these how do I say, with not these plays, but these accounts I'm about to read, man. This is like, yo, first grade. Yeah, this was challenging to us when we thought like, you know, before first graders, you know, or you know, second grade was challenging to us when we only had an education of a first grader. You know, we had to learn everything in second grade. So that's a step up from where we're going. All right. So now all of these things, all these accounts are, we're not going to read all the accounts, but, you know, we're going to read a couple of accounts. But nevertheless, these are like going from kindergarten, first grade, second grade, all the way on up to when you get to college, man. You know, this date is coming. It's going to be like you taking your final exam and the highest level of, let's say, your college degree that you can get, man. This is the hardest test you can take, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you thought first grade was hard. That's because you had, you know, you was thinking like a first grader, you know. You thought second grade was hard because you only had a first grade education. But now you got all the education of all, you know, all the different grades you can get. Now you're at the very top. Now you got to take the ultimate test, man. This is going to be all the things that you done learn from from kindergarten through, all the way up to the top of your college, whatever degree you pursuing, But nevertheless, this is 2 Kings chapter 25. I'm going to start at the first verse. It says, "And it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month, in the 10th day of the month, that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came, he and all his hosts, against Jerusalem, and pitched against it, and they built forts round about it, man." And so, like I said, man, reading these things, sometimes you can just read through these things, but you have to visualize this, man. All right, when you encamp around about a place with your whole goddamn host, your whole army. Imagine this, man. These old ancient cities. All right, now it's all being this is how they used to do warfare back in the day. Because if you had a walled city, you ain't really getting your army inside that goddamn walled city like that, man. And plus, the people on the inside got the advantage because they up on top of the walls can shoot down at you, and they don't know, the opponent don't know what's on the other side of that wall, how to be prepared for that. So what they do is they cut off the trade, the trade route, the food route, the water route from entering in the city to weaken down the people, so that they starve them out to death. They get weaker, they don't have anything to drink, they can't bring things in and out. So what? They wind up getting weaker and weaker, and eventually they'll either come out or they just break down the door. And most of the cities probably either already dead, or if not, they already weak enough that you just go through and just mow them over. All right, now think about that in modern days today. They still do the same thing today. It's called what? Sanctions. This is what they doing to these other countries, man. It's, before they go to a hot war, what do? They impose sanctions on them, most of the time economic sanctions on them, all right, to cut off the supply route of money or funding coming in to keep the system rolling, man. It's like you got a goddamn NASCAR, you in a NASCAR race, all right, and you win and you kicking everybody ass on a goddamn track. But guess what? The opponents decided, you know what? This motherfucker got to take a pit stop eventually. We're going to go into his pit crew, and we're going to make sure this motherfucker ain't got no gas to put into his car. He ain't got no tires to put on his car. So, yeah, he lapping us multiple times over, and he in first place so far ahead of us. But guess what? He eventually going to run out of gas. And when he run out of gas, he ain't going to be able to resupply. All right, so now we can take our time and just work his ass out, But that's what you got going on, or the things that's coming, man. But this is what we reading about in this here scenario, just like these sanctions, man. Starving the people out. Well, eventually he's going to run out of gas, and he's going to have to go and refuel somewhere. But if we cut off his ability to refuel, then he ain't going to never be able to get back on the track to finish this here race. We could take our time, and we could just work them however we want to work them, man. All right, but now let's just bring this into modern day times and bring it on a lower scale, because that's international, dealing with these other nations. But just imagine this happening into your town and into your city, man. The food trucks stop rolling in. First of all, the gas trucks will stop rolling in. All right, you ain't get no gas in your car. Now this is something that I'm not sure if a lot of Americans ever experienced this, but down here in Florida, this shit happens multiple times throughout every year, man. All right, whenever we have hurricanes and they warn us of a big hurricane, you have a big population of people that run to the gas stations, like this last one we just had, the one that fucked up the Bahamas. All right, they was telling us, I think they was gonna hit us on maybe like a Sunday or a Monday or some shit like that, right? But they had super big warning. Everybody need to evacuate, And this was on like a Wednesday. Everybody had bought out all the damn gas on Wednesday and Thursday. There was no gas, no water, and none of the stores, nowhere. And I'm like, you motherfuckers still got to go to work the rest of the week, man. The storm ain't going to be here till like Sunday night, Monday morning. All right, but now everybody's all stuck, no gas, can't nobody really go nowhere. All right, then you also have in times like this where, people run out of gas and they still try to evacuate. Now everybody's trying to leave on the interstate. The interstate's all backed up. Cars are overheating. Cars are running out of gas because all the gas stations up the interstate are all out of gas. So now these cars are just stuck sitting ducks on the side of the road. All right, this is what's going on. So just imagine the gas trucks running out of gas, man. You can't bring gas into the city. Now all the people in the city can't really move. So you've really done a lot of damage, because if you can't move, you can't go to the grocery store. Can't go to the grocery store. Not only you can't go to the grocery store, the goddamn food trucks is bringing in the food to the grocery store can't bring the food in. Every grocery store only got about a 3-day supply of food in that bitch. You see what I'm saying? And that's at a normal pace. All right, that's just people regular, like today, ain't shit really popping off big to where everybody going to the grocery store today, tomorrow, and the next day. That's a normal 3-day, how do I say it? 3-day resupply time, right? But now when you have just let's just say the gas is like that too. I don't know how long gas supply they have, but let's just say the gas supply is on a 3-day supply as well at normal rate, right? But now when you have a hurricane coming and they tell you need to evacuate, that 3-day supply runs out within 2 hours, because that's a abnormal condition, more or less to say, all right? Because everybody's trying to go rush and get gas and get more gas than what they would normally get. So just imagine the gas trucks can't bring in gas, so now the food trucks can't bring in food, all right? You normally would have a 3-day supply, but now all the food's gone within the first day, All right, first couple hours of the announcement on the news. So you can't get gas, can't get food from the grocery store, and now everybody's pulling their money out the ATMs. You can't get money out the ATMs. Banks is shut down. All right, you can't cash your paychecks. All right, now what are you gonna do? Everybody's all stuck, and you all, basically this is like the city around you being besieged, man. You stuck inside your city, and you only got a small amount of food supply, small amount of water supply, small amount of gas supply. You can't really go anywhere. All right, eventually it's going to come to a time where everybody's going to wind up fighting each other over the last little crumbs of bread, gas, and whatnot, if this is prolonged for a long amount of time. All right, but nevertheless, reading about how Jerusalem is being besieged on all sides. All right, just imagine that, man. You in one of these major cities, whatnot, and they got the housing projects, these big ass apartments, whatnot, or whatever neighborhood either Jake or Esau live in. They just shut it down. They quarantine it off. You can't leave. You can't come in. You can't come out the city, man. You pretty much stuck right here, man. All right, you can't get around this roadblock or whatnot. They turning you back on your own way, man. Now you stuck. You can't get out, man. Or just imagine like in the Paradise Fires, man, over in California. They told those people to evacuate. Then eventually the fires got out of hand. They told the people, all right, it's too late to evacuate now. And you see some videos of people trying to drive through, which was a bunch of trees overhanging, but now they all on fire. So it's now you driving through basically like a hallway full of fire. All right, people burning up in their cars and dying in their cars, videotaping their last little moments and shit like that. Just imagine that, man. You stuck inside this city, can't get out, man. Everywhere you go, there's calamities on each end. You just boxed in, man. All right, what do you think is gonna happen inside that damn, like in wrestling? We're gonna lock them into a steel cage match to see what happens. She can't run, so y'all might as well just battle it on out. All right. Verse 2, and the city was besieged until the 11th year of Zedekiah. And on the 9th day of the 4th month, the famine prevailed in the city, and there was no bread for the people of the land. So like I was saying, or like modern day today where they have the sanctions, look at Cuba. All right. Look at Venezuela. That's what they did to Venezuela, man. They stopped, the national oil, or the oil is basically the national, the oil is owned by the state, basically, of Venezuela. It's national oil, right? They make their GDP, the majority of their money, the government income that they make, all right, basically comes off of their gas, all right? Now, but the headquarters for their gas, the state-run gas, is here in America, in Texas, under the name of Citgo. Now, out of all the money that company is making, all right, it's going back through the headquarters in America, but America got sanctions on it, not allowing them to move the money back out into Venezuela. So now all the money that they're making it's all frozen into an account. They can't pay off their bills, the police officers, the military, the governmental assistance, food programs, so on and so forth, man. All right, so what happened to Venezuela, man? People went to straight chaos, man. People was fighting over, a bag of rice and stuff like that, man. They was eating up all the damn zoo animals because why? There was a lack of bread, man, over no food because why? They was being besieged round about, like in the old modern days where they would camp around about your city. But this way, they was doing it by what? Pen and paper, man. They put these sanctions on you, telling you that, look, nobody better not import or export into this here country. At least they fall to some penalties put on them by the U.S., man. All right, and y'all can't even bring in your own income, man. That's like you getting your paycheck garnished. Yeah, you can work for labor. Yeah, they can pay you out, but you're not gonna be able to cash that check and receive those funds, man. All your money coming back onto us, man. All right. Verse 4, and the city was broken up, and all the men of war fled by night by the way of the gate between the two walls, which is by the king's garden. All right, so these are the men of war because why? There was a famine. They was getting weak. They ain't had no food. You know what I'm saying? They getting weaker and weaker, and they realize that the enemy ain't going nowhere, man. The enemy's still eating. They the ones taking all the food that's coming in because you got food that's coming in, whatnot. But they just stopping all these caravans and they just eating all that food. So they got a full supply. They out there where the water's coming in at, It says, verse 5, and the army of the Chaldees pursued after the king and overtook him in the plains of Jericho, and all his army was scattered before him. All right, so just imagine, and we don't necessarily have a king over us right now. We are a nation that's basically inside of another nation right now. You have Israel in captivity under Esau right now, but nevertheless, we're not like a whole other. It's not like, you got two nations in one nation here, like as far as, America being one nation and let's just say Russia being another nation, right? Both here on the same landmass, two different presidents. You got to, or let's just say Texas. Texas want to move out. You don't have no shit like that popping off, man. All right. So right now we under, the jurisdiction of America. So whatever they tell us to do, whatnot, that's what it is. So if they cut off these cities and the routes coming in and out, man, all right, then what's going to happen, man? You ain't going to be able to bring food in and food out. Let alone, again, like I was saying, we don't have another nation, or we're not another nation where we have our own king, our own military arm, or whatever, whatnot. But nevertheless, the people that would stand for us, hey, they're gonna be all depleted of energy and food and things like that. They're not gonna be standing willing to fight, man. All right. It says, especially all these, you got all these Edomite militias and things like that. Let these motherfuckers starve y'all out for a long enough time, man. See how thick y'all bands are together with your so-called brotherhood and stuff like that. When you know this motherfucker got food over in his little basement, you finna go take your guns to go feed your family, man. And that's what's gonna happen, man. All right. Verse 7, and they slew the sons of Zedekiah before his eyes and put out the eyes of Zedekiah and bound him with fetters of brass and carried him to Babylon. Again, this was our king back in the time, but just imagine that, man. Imagine, our so-called leaders and stuff for the fear, putting fear into people and things like that, man. They coming in and putting your eyes out, man. Just imagine that, man. Your sons all being, all your sons being killed right in front of you, man, for a torture attack. You seen your whole family being put to death in front of you, man. Imagine, fuck being a king, man. This could happen to any of us, man. You know what I'm saying? Martial law troops come and kick into your doors, man, and put everybody down on their damn knees, hands on your head, and get down on your knees and start blowing everybody's brains out right in front of you. Then your daughter come. There's a story about this, man, that happened over in Iraq, man. When we still kind of over there, but nevertheless, way back, when we first got over there, these American soldiers was over there laughing and joking, these Edomites, about how they went up into this one house for these Arabs and basically took the daughter and raped her ass. Basically, they didn't rape her to death. They damn near raped her ass to death. All right, right in front of her family, man. They tied the family up and they all took turns. This whole squadron of dudes all took turns and raped this bitch damn near to death. All right in front of her family while her father's watching. Can't do nothing, ain't got no might into his arms to be able to save his daughter as she's screaming out in pain and agony and in shame, being raped by all these multiple men, one after another, saying all kind of disrespectful shit to her. Yeah, where's your little Muslim God now with your little ball? All kind of crazy shit, man. Just imagine if you was that girl's father, man, seeing all these things and ain't got no might in your hands, man. All right, seeing your daughter constantly just being how do I say not to say disrespected, but there's another word for it, but nevertheless, she just being treated like that right in front of your eyes. You can't do nothing about it, man. And your wife over here tied up right beside your ass, knowing that she gonna be next, man. Or you got a house full of daughters and they going one after another. They got a line full of them, man. And they just, just doing the worst, man. They got a hot ass barrel of an M16 to your daughter's head while they over here raping the shit out of her, man. And you can't do shit about it, man. They got the gun up to your head, man. You over here tied down, tape over your mouth, screaming and shit, man. All right. Then they wind up, after they get done raping the shit out of your daughter and she's all bloody and shit like that, and your wife and shit, they just go ahead and put a bullet into their head. Boom, kill the whole family. But then they leave your ass alive, and then they decide that, we're going to just gouge his eyeballs out and shit and leave this motherfucker alive, let him just go wander off. His last visual that he going to see is his goddamn daughters getting raped, damn to death, them getting shot, his wife getting raped, getting shot. You know what I'm saying? They take the little baby and fucking play soccer with the little baby and shit. You know what I'm saying? Those are your last visual memories that you got before your eyes get plucked out. And then you go into captivity. Then they bring your ass into something like Guantanamo Bay, waterboard your ass, and torture your ass, man. All right? Just think about this, man, because this is what these American soldiers are doing nowadays, man. This is the spirit in the heart. This is the spirit and the mindset that Esau is in already, man. All right? This is what he want to do to you Israelites anyway, man. Revelation 12:12, woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and them of the sea, for the devils come down to you having great wrath, man. All right, there's gonna be a time like never before, even since there was nation to the same time. So if this happened, just imagine what come on, bro. Think about it, man. All right, it says and on the fifth and in the 5th month, on the 7th day of the month, which is the 19th year of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came Nebuzaradan, captain of the guards, a servant of the king of Babylon, to Jerusalem. All right, verse 9, and he burnt the house of Yahweh and the king's house and all the houses of Jerusalem, and every great man's house burnt with fire. So just imagine us back in those days, man. They came and burnt down the temple of the Lord, burned down the king's palace, man, burnt down everybody's damn house, Now they did this in modern days, somewhat modern days today in Tulsa, Oklahoma, man. Burned down Tulsa, Oklahoma, Rosewood, Florida, man. All right, to where shit, Rosewood, you wouldn't even know where the fuck Rosewood is at nowadays, man. This is a goddamn cow pasture, man. That's what the fuck it look like now, man. All right, but nevertheless, and most people don't even know the story about that shit, man. And there's multiple other cities that the same thing happened to. It wasn't just one so-called little black Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? That's just the one that most people all know about. But nevertheless, there was multiple times like this where they came through besieged our city. The government or the military came in, or they turned a blind eye while the rest of these Edomites came in. You know, the first attack on American soil from an airplane, all right, was done by Americans on Americans, man. These Edomites came and firebombed Tulsa, Oklahoma with their goddamn planes, man. All right, set the whole goddamn city on fire. First of all, you know, these Edomites, they was poor, walking around, look at Jake prospering, living all rich and everything like that, man. All right, but they out there in they projects and they ghettos and they slums and shit, looking over here at Jake living it up, man. And they over here in their little feelings and shit, so they decided to do what? Revert to they natural state, man, being thugs, gangsters, niggas and shit, man. And what they go do, they go prowling up into Jake's windows and shit. Well, they ain't prowling the windows. They just came in with a goddamn mob and camped around about the city and burned that bitch down, man. Well, before they burned it down, they sacked all the houses, stole all the goods and the riches out of all these people's houses, and then burned down the whole goddamn city, man. All right? And then try to cover it up, man. All right? So, hey, what we're reading about is nothing new, man. The same thing happened before us, you know, and you know, prior to us being here right now, man. The same thing happened to us beforehand, man. All right? Verse 12, but the captain of the guard left the poor of the land to be vine dressers and husbandmen, and the pillars of brass that were in the house of Yahweh and the bases and the brazen sea that was in the house of Yahweh did the Chaldees break in pieces and carry the brass of them to Babylon. Just imagine how glorious the temple looked, man, and just to see that this is a high holy thing for us, man. They came, took that, you know. Let me see. Imagine, you know, like how America upholds the goddamn Statue of Liberty, the White House. You see, a lot of these motherfuckers, the American flags, they goddamn start crying if the American flag touched the ground, somebody spit on it, burn it, whatever, whatnot. Oh, that's American. Oh, whatever, something in glory. Like, bitch, that shit was made in China. Ain't y'all at a trade war with China right now? You see what I'm saying? But nevertheless, you know what I mean? You know, just imagine well, hell, 9/11, man. You seen what happened with 9/11? Oh, they burnt, they destroyed our buildings or whatever. What the sentiment that was behind those things, man? Just imagine another country coming over here and toppling the Statue of Liberty, man. How heartbroken these Americans would be. Oh, that was such a thorn in our sides. America wept, so on and so forth. You know, that's how it was when seeing our temple being burnt down, man. That's letting us know, like, oh Lord, we done been separated from our power, man. We going off, man, and our power ain't even gonna be around to save us because we went off this bad. Now the enemies come through to be able to disrespect and disgrace our God like that, man. Not only that, the king's palace was burnt down. Not only that, damn near everybody else's house was burned the fuck down. So imagine, you know, like Jerusalem back in those days, you know, wasn't as big as a modern day city today. You know, like fucking Atlanta. You know, Atlanta is a big ass city. You know, you got like four sides, and then on top of the four sides, you got more than that. You know, you got like Atlanta, the inner perimeter. Then you got, you know, the perimeter. Then you got like, goddamn greater Atlanta. You know, shit like Riverdale and Jonesboro, which is, you know, it's still pretty much Atlanta. It's, you know, still right then and there. But nevertheless, that's a goddamn big ass city with a lot of fucking people in it, man. All right, but just imagine all those people, or fuck it, we'll just take, you know, if you know anything about Atlanta, man, just take one side. The south side is big as shit, man. The south side is big as shit. That's like damn near the biggest side of all of Atlanta, man. Imagine burning down the whole goddamn south side, man. Goddamn College Park, East Point, Camp Creek, South Fulton, goddamn Camp Creek, all that shit, man. Imagine burning all Jonesboro, Riverdale, burn all that shit down, man. Imagine all them houses and all them people and shit like that. All that shit just getting destroyed, man. All right, you got to visualize this is what's coming, man. Esau's finna, when this economy collapses, government collapse, man, it's going to be an all-out warfare, man. And ultimately, the devil's coming down and you having great wrath. He's not going to hold no bars, bro. These are the things that happened beforehand. And we know that according to the scriptures, it's going to be a time of trouble since there was a nation, even into the same time, man. But let me continue on reading. It says the height of one pillar was 18 cubits. And the chapter upon it was brass, and the height of the chapter was 3 cubits. And when the wreathen work and pomegranates upon the chapter round about of all brass, and like unto these had a second pillar with wreath work. And the captain of the guard took Sariah, the chief priest of Zephaniah, and the second priest, and the 3 keepers of the door. And out of the city he took an officer that was set over the men of war, and 5 men of them which were in the king's presence, which he found in the city, and the principal scribe of the host, which mustered the people of the land, and 60 men of the city of the land that were found in the city. And Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, took these and brought them to the king of Babylon to Riblah. And the king of Babylon smote them and slew them at Riblah in the land of Hamath. So Judah was carried away out of their land. So just imagine that, man. All right, you being taken in on these goddamn FEMA trains. You think you about to be saved and be fed some food or whatever, whatnot. But you taken down to a goddamn execution camp, man. And they goddamn put your ass to death as soon as you get there, man. So these FEMA camps and FEMA coffins, all this shit none of this shit is new, man. Ain't nothing new under the sun, man. This happened to us beforehand, and it's scheduled to happen right on time to us again, but in a way worse way, man. This is why you need to fear the Most High, man. Fear these things is coming, man. Get on the right side, man, because look, you ain't gonna have no goddamn protection in this point in time except for you had that spiritual mark of exemption, man, which meaning that the Lord has found grace and bestowed mercy upon you to not let this here judgment touch your ass, because why? You was a faithful servant unto him and doing his will, man, when he called your ass to do his will, man. But guess what? 2/3 of our people are going to be put to death and die in the midst of this, man. All right, this is why we are here on the highways and the byways and putting up these here video epistles to warn our people, man. We warning you that motherfucking death and destruction is coming. If you don't get your act together, man, you finna see you and your whole family get put to a gruesome death, man. All right, and we don't want to see this shit happen to our people, but what? We know this is slated for 2/3 of our people because why? They don't want to hearken to the voice of the Most High, man. All right, and we also fear the same thing too, because we also know, hey, at any point in time, man, the Lord, it's not of us to keep the spirit of the Lord on us. We could pray that the Lord keep his spirit on us and not take his spirit away from us, but ultimately it's the Most High's choice, man. All right, man, hey, shit, this is our reasonable service, man. All right, man, we pray, we have the hopeful elect. We hope that the Lord allow us to endure into the end and give us mercy and deliver us up out of this here place, man. All right, because this is some deep, like I said, I was just reading this and visualizing this shit in modern days today, man. Imagine just a modern day city and shit just getting quarantined off and troops going from door to door just gunning people down, man, setting the whole city on fire. You know what? Let's close off this here whole, the entrance to this here city. You know, some places like shit out here, some places you can't even get to unless you go across a goddamn bridge to get to that place, man. You know, you got a lot of these little islands out here and shit like that. You can't even get out there unless you get on the goddamn bridge to get there, man. But they close off this. Matter of fact, like I said, this is some shit you got to know about from being here, man. When the hurricanes come and shit and you get high winds, we got one major bridge that's kind of close by us that go up in the air. It's called the Skyway Bridge. When they shut down, I know in the county where I live at, if they shut down their bridge, you know, because of the high winds on it, because this bridge goes way the fuck up in the air, like super high up in the air, you know what I'm saying? And your car could get blown off the side of the bridge, you know. That's something to look into, the Skyway Bridge, you know, why they had to rebuild that bridge multiple times, but because it got hit by a goddamn cruise liner or a big ass ship. But nevertheless, you know what I'm saying? They shut down that bridge because of high winds, you know, and nowadays you can actually get around without using that bridge. But hey, there's other places, like I said, there's other islands and stuff like that out here where Emerson Point, Terra Siesta, Siesta Key, Longboat Key, Lido Beach, a lot of these goddamn islands, Clearwater and shit like that, man. Or maybe you can get to Clearwater without, you know, crossing one of those bridges. But nevertheless, there's a lot of these little islands where it's not just a small little island where people would think, oh, this is a small little island, is probably like 6 houses on it. Nah, we talking about islands with hundreds, if not thousands of homes on these islands, man. People can't get up off of these things, man. All right. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, it still goes to the same thing, man. Man. Yeah, I'm not going to read the rest of this. You can read it all the way on down. I stopped at verse 21, but you can read it all the way on down. Let me try to grab a couple more scriptures real quick. I'm going to close out. I know I've been going too long, but we'll grab a couple more just to give a couple other accounts just real quick, because I had brought this out a little early, talking about your wife and your daughter getting raped to death in front of you and shit. All right, this is another good chapter to read too, Lamentations chapter 5, man, because this is also going into like the same thing, man. You read this here chapter, us going into captivity, man. And not the report, I guess the reports of it, you know, what we read in here about, god damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just read this as, oh, that, you know, is, you know, somewhat in your mind is kind of like a story. Yeah, it's just kind of, it's like we watching a fucking movie, man. You know, you watch a movie, whatever movie, you watch, I don't know, any kind of fucking action-packed movie, man. Any action-packed movie, they got a bunch of people fucking dying in there, right? Terminator 2, Judgment Day, Sarah Connor dream, the scene where the nuclear bomb go off, right? You watching a movie, right? You're not like really like, oh, you might be a little taken back by that, but You know what I'm saying? You watching the movie. It's not really processing in your mind. Like if that shit was real, like, yo, hundreds of thousands of people are being incinerated every fucking millisecond right now as this shit is just going on. Like, yo, there's massive death going on right now, bro. Like, that's not even processing your mind because you watching the fucking movie, right? Same thing with the scriptures sometimes. You be reading the scriptures like, oh, you know, this is a story, whatever, whatnot. Oh, they slew 7,000 men. They put 10,000 men to death. The Lord opened up the ground and swallowed 40,000 men. You know, you just reading all these things, but you got to think about this shit, man. In modern day time, you know, the Lord opened up the earth and swallowed a great amount of people. Imagine a fucking sinkhole opening up nowadays and like, just imagine a sinkhole opening up nowadays and 100 people getting swallowed up in that bitch, man. I know there's a story here in Florida where we had a year of sinkholes like a motherfucker out here, man. There was this one chick that was in his house. He was in his bedroom sleep, and a goddamn sinkhole opened up, not under the whole house, but just under this motherfucker's bedroom, right under his bed. This is straight judgment of the Most High, like, because sinkholes, you know, you have to be around them to kind of understand them a little bit. But nevertheless, in this situation, this was a sinkhole just up under the bedroom, not just the bedroom, but just under the bed. Like, it was just uniform to just under the damn bed. It wasn't even, you know, partially under the bed. You know, half of the bed was on the sinkhole, the other half wasn't, or half the room was, the other half wasn't, or half the house was on the sinkhole, the other half wasn't. Nah, this sinkhole just happened to open up right up under this dude's bed while he was in the bed asleep in the daytime. All right, and swallowed his ass up, man. And they couldn't find this motherfucker for shit. They still don't know where the fuck this motherfucker went. Like, well, how deep is the fucking hole? And people was tripping over one person. Imagine 100 people or 1,000 people, 10,000 people getting swallowed up in the goddamn hole, man. All right. But nevertheless, you got to understand, these things are all coming, man. These things are all coming, man. It's going to be a barrage of different calamities and plagues coming, hitting all at the same time. Lamentation 5 and what shit? Let me start at verse 9. Like I said, this whole chapter is real, you know what I'm saying? Something you could read and try to visualize this. Lamentations 5 and 9, it says, we got our bread with peril of our lives because of the sword of the wilderness. Just think about that, man. In the time of the purge, economic collapse, grocery store don't work no more. Can't go out, can't get money out the ATM. You're going to have to get it how you live, bro. You're going to have to get it how you really get it in them days, man. It ain't, bro, all the regular, man, look, like in Second Esdras, they say, man, hey, they're not going to regard the kings and they princes and shit in that day, man. You're going to revert to some, hey, the real men going to stand the fuck up in that day, man. You know what I'm saying? Not talking about the men of the Lord, but I'm just saying, like, in a carnal sense, man. The real men are going to stand up in that day. They're like, fuck that. We're not waiting on no goddamn governmental aid for them to bring us a goddamn one bag of rice to 100,000 people for us to all slaughter each other for this one bag of rice. Fuck that. We got some rounds in the closet. We gonna go get that, whatever these Edomites be hunting with and shit. And we gonna go out and go lay these motherfuckers down for something to eat, man. All right, there was an article, something I was watching the other day, going into how they still steadily trying to feed. Well, they've been feeding us food, people for food. But there's actually articles and stuff coming out now about how, you know, they just teasing now, but then they coming out with scientific stuff or whatever, whatnot about cannibalism and so on and so forth, because they know eventually this is what it's going to come to, man. And they're predictively programming the people, man. All right, but just let me read verse 9 again. Lamentations 5 and 9. We got our bread with peril of our lives because of the sword of the wilderness. Just imagine that, man. Just to eat, man. You got to goddamn risk your life every fucking night, man. Shit, how many more bullets we got? All right, we've been watching this house for the last 2 hours. All right, we're going to run up in there. We don't really know what the fuck they got in there, but we're going to take a chance. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying? You run up in somebody's house, you don't even know if they got food or not, let alone you don't know how many people in the house. You don't know if they got guns or not. So you taking this chance running up in somebody's house, hog tying everybody and just, or really just putting everybody the fuck down. Like, fuck that. You come at the door, one to the head, fuck them. You know what I'm saying? We got to get this here food, bro. I got my son and my daughter over there starving, man. And you're going to be going from house to house to house to house doing this on a daily basis, man. Because once this here place collapses, it ain't no return for it, man. All right, so this is going to be like this inevitably, man. All right. Verse 10, our skin is black like an oven because of the terrible famine. They ravished the women of Zion and the maids in the city of Judah. All right. Hey, they ravished the women of Zion and the maids of the city of Judah. So imagine that coming back nowadays, man. You got a lot of, especially our sisters, man, because they the forefronts of this fucking movement, man. All right. This goddamn social media movement where you got all these goddamn, they got a term for this shit now. Basically, these whores and shit. All right. They got the thoughts. All these goddamn thoughts and shit rolling around on the social media sites showing their ass cheeks and all these fucking abominations, man. All these bitches getting these fucking ass implants, breast implants, butterflies on their ass cheeks, twerking and shit, walking around with camel toes and shit, man. Yo, man, what you think is gonna happen in that day, man? And then they talk, I don't need no man. I don't need no man cutting all these bridges, burning all these bridges. Let's just say they wasn't even burning all these bridges with men. Let's say they did have good relationships with a lot of these men. They was just friends or whatever, whatnot. Do you think in a time like this that somebody you call your friend, oh, he like my brother, he'll do whatever for me whenever I'm in trouble, this nigga come and get... All right, now let's imagine this scenario where we going through now, the collapse, the purge, everything popping off, man. You think this nigga really finna come clean cross town to come goddamn make sure you, I heard a noise, I'm scared, can you come and comfort? No, hell no. First of all, your phone might not even be working for you to call his ass. But if you did, I doubt if this nigga really gonna put his life in danger to come over there to come save some broad that would never give him a time of the day to give him no box or nothing like that. Because this is why this nigga hanging out with you anyway, because he think one day she gonna give me some box. Fuck, she ain't gave me no box the whole goddamn time. What the fuck I'm finna risk my life going over there to try to save this bitch and bring this bitch some bread? I had to kill a motherfucker for this here loaf of bread. I'm not finna go get this bitch no bread. Let alone, if that nigga ain't gonna come protect you, just imagine when you gotta just... I mean, everybody know where you live. You might live in an apartment or some shit like that, man. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers know who they live next door to. They know who they neighbor. Yeah, that's that little fine little bitch over there next door. Never gave me the time of day. Always walking around like a fucking model and shit. Nose always up in the air and shit. I know she ain't got no man. You got this big Broly Jake over there. You know what I'm saying? Had to watch this goddamn little bitch walk around in some goddamn yoga pants and some bicycling shorts and shit all goddamn day with her goddamn what you call that shit? Basically her goddamn crotch showing, shit all tight tight up in her crotch and shit. He seeing this bitch every day walking around in some tight ass clothes, no goddamn bra on, titties and nipples and shit all. Now, what do you think? This nigga's looking down at this bitch every fucking day, man. But now 911 don't work, man. What the fuck you think is gonna happen, man? He finna roll up in that bitch house and rape this bitch, probably put this bitch to death, and then take all her groceries out the house. Who the fuck is she gonna call, man? You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of women out there like that that's gonna be just ran over like this, man. We read in Jeremiah 30:5. Why do I see all these men in travail as if they like a woman in travail? Why do I see them in pain as if they a woman giving birth, man? So if the men gonna be like that, how much more these women, man? All right, that's why, you know, scripture say a man's gonna be a hiding place from the wind, and 7 women should take hold of one man. This is talking about righteous men, the men of the Lord, because they're gonna be exempt from this here judgment. But just think about this, man. All these Instagram models, all these so-called fine little chicks walking around, all these women just going around touting out their body and women first, free feminism and women better than men and all this, bro. In that day, man, like just me thinking about this shit, man, I could just hear the cries and the screams of all these goddamn women, man, getting put to death, and just when their eyes get opened up to the slaughter that's coming, man. Just imagine you in a fucking apartment building and you just hear death coming around the corner, bro. They going from floor to floor. You in a high-rise building, you just hear gunshots going off. Door getting kicked in, boom. Gunshot go off, boom. Door getting kicked in, boom. Gunshot go off, boom. You hear feet running around and shit like that. People running, and all of a sudden the gunshots go off. No more footsteps, man. Now you hear it getting louder and louder coming down your goddamn hallway. You over here trying to hide in the closet and shit, crying, oh, Jesus, help me, and so on and so forth, man. You're going to be shitting bricks in those days, man. All right? Like, literally, bro. This is not nothing to be playing with. The day of the Lord is rapidly approaching. All right? This is let me just finish it out, this here lesson, man. But just visualize all this stuff that's coming, man. All right? Take the events that you see, the so-called current events, modern events, you know, not so far back in history events, biblical events. Roll these all in together into one, man. It's going to be worse than all of that, man. Worse than what your mind could even imagine, man. All right? Verse 11 again, it says, they ravished the women of Zion and the maids of the city of Judah, meaning they goddamn raped. Let's go into it. It says they ravished, right? It says to be occupied, to be bruised with, to afflict, to oppress, to humble, to be afflicted, to be bowed down. Now, how does a man humble a woman? All right. Now, when you like, basically, if you understand, like, you get this modern day hypersexualization about your mindset or whatever, whatnot, the act of sex is basically a man humbling a woman. You know what I'm saying? Because he's got her basically somewhat pinned down. You look at a lot of the sexual positions, he's pretty much got her pinned down and is penetrating her ass, right? Then you hear the moaning and the screaming. She's like, you know what I'm saying? She being taken. You know what I'm saying? She's like, oh. You know what I'm saying? I mean, now we're not talking about in a rape scenario, but just like regular sex. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you be giving it to your woman or whatever, whatnot, and she looking back at you like, God damn, you know, that's why she getting all the moaning, and because you taking it from her ass, right? Just like if two men get into a fight, man, and one man is beating the shit out of the other dude, you hear him, You just beating it. You taking the life from him, man. You know, you got them taking his strength away from him, man. You making it so he can, you know, he's in a position where he can't prevail against you because you pretty much got him pinned down. You beating the shit out of him, man. Same way with a woman, man. You got a woman, you having sex with this here woman, you know what I'm saying? You putting it down on this here woman, and she being humbled, man, because you got her in the, you know, first of all, you stronger than her, and like I said, most sexual positions, you pretty much got her pinned down. You know what I'm saying? There's a couple where she's pretty much on top of you, but other than that, you pretty much got her in a position, you know? You holding her back, you know, you might be pulling her from her hair, whatever, whatnot, but you got her in a position to where you finna go? You know, Jake be like to say, don't you run from me, bitch, bring your ass back over. You got that manhandle her ass, you know? Jake, you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying? When you get up in the bedroom, you be manhandling your woman and shit, you know, that's what, you know, that's what it's like to, that's what it means to humble your woman, you know? Sometimes you put it down on your woman real good or whatever, whatnot, and after y'all done, after you get done putting it on her, she can't do nothing but just lay there, just be trembling and shit, just, don't even want to move, don't touch me, she just sitting there. You just get up, you look at her ass like, motherfucking right. You just walk the fuck off, go get you a goddamn glass of water or some shit. That's right, I'm the fucking man. You know what I'm saying? She can't even move, you know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, that's being humbled, right? But let's keep going further down into this here word, being ravished. It says to afflict, all right, to oppress. Now, when you having sex with your woman, you're not afflicting her or oppressing her, all right? That would be the difference between you just having consensual sex with your woman and you actually just randomly finding some bitch and just goddamn hit this bitch over the head with a goddamn club and raping her ass, right? Or holding her down. All right, it says to afflict, to oppress, to humble, to be afflicted, to be bowed down, to be put down, to become low, to be depressed, to be downcast, afflicted, to stoop. All right, all these things. Let me keep going. To humble oneself, to bow down, to be afflicted, to be humbled, to mishandle, to afflict, to humble, to be humiliated. All right, weaken oneself. All right, so all these things, again, going into being humbled. You know, a woman is normally being humbled by our man in the act of having sex. You know, when a man and a woman have sex with your wife, we call it nowadays, hey, I beat that shit down. You know what I'm saying? You humbled her, right? But you don't do that in an afflicting way or an oppressive type of way. All right, but nevertheless, these words are going into humbling a woman in an afflictive type of way, an oppressive type of way. All right, or a humiliating type of way. All right, you know, because like when you having sex with your woman, you kind of pinning her down. I mean, that's consensual. You know, y'all just getting y'all freak on. All right, but there's a difference between, you know what I'm saying, and then, you know, you might be into some shit. You know, you might be choking your old lady out or whatever, whatnot. You know, friendly sex type of shit, right? But it's a difference between that and then you just grabbing the bitch and literally choking this bitch the fuck out while you goddamn penetrating this woman. That's a little different. All right. This is what this here word is going into. It says they ravished, Lamentation 5:11. They ravished the women in Zion and the maids in the city of Judah. So what? They humbled them. All right. They had sex with them, but not in no con type of way. They came through and they was basically raping these women. They, like I was giving the example of the military men, how they came through. All right. Because, you know, sex could be consensual between a man and a woman, whatever, whatnot. But when you got an M16 to this little girl head, all right, or you fire off the M16 a couple times, get that barrel hot, and you put that goddamn hot barrel to that little girl head, all right, and the rest of the family head with your squadron, and y'all goddamn take turn gang raping this chick until she damn near die, all right, and then you put them all to death in there, all right, that's different, man, all right. You humbled her a whole kind of different way. You humbled her by humiliating her, man, by afflicting her, man. That's what we're talking about by being ravished. So going into these times that we coming into, a lot of you Israelite women, all right, you're going to have to go through these same things, man. All right, yeah, sorry I had to get all graphic with you, but look, we got to give you these here warnings. These ain't no just fucking fairy tales that we telling you, man. We telling you this because we love you. We don't want to see you go through this, and, you know, and this is also the fear of the Lord, man. You got to learn to fear the Lord because, look, the Lord will really fuck you up, put you in a bad predicament, man. All right, and it's not going to just be like, oh, well, this nigga was wicked. We're going to just touch him and he going to just die. He going to just die in his sleep. No, man, no. You about to get, this is the last time that Israel is going to ever get their judgment, man. This is the last time that you're going to ever in your whole entire existence ever be in trouble or ever go off again. So this is the last time you're going to get your last beating. It's going to be the worst beating of your whole entire life, man. This is going to be it, man. All right. It says, verse 12, the princes are hanged by their hands and and the faces of the elders were not honored. They took the young men to grind and the children fell under the wood. All right. So look. Man, they hung the princes up by their hands, all right, and they took the young children and they ground their bodies up and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. Think about this, man. You see the cartels and shit where they be taking these bodies, these people, they be beheading their ass, cutting their bodies all up, or dumping their body into some goddamn acid to where it pretty much eats up the whole goddamn body, or they'll just dump a whole truckload of bodies on the interstate or hang them from the top of the interstate, and they'll have a sign say, yeah, we did this shit. Imagine that, but all that, coming down around here to your loved ones and shit like that, man. You driving down the street trying to go look for food or whatever, whatnot, you see on the overpass, your son and your daughter, your cousin, your niece, your nephew, your grandma, or somebody like that hung up there, man. Or you see your grandma and shit who was in a wheelchair in an oxygen tank and shit. They came through and raped her ass to fucking death and left her all bloody and dead in the wheelchair and shit like that, man. You see what I'm saying, man? These are the times that we coming into, man. Jacob's trouble, a time like never before since there was a nation even to the same time, man. All right? Damn. I'm not going to grab that account. There's an account in the book of First Maccabees. So give me 1 second. All right, here in the book of First Maccabees chapter 1, and you can start at verse 41 and read it on down, talking about how they try to pretty much establish a one world order, and everybody was going to serve basically Esau, all right, and the types of things that they wound up doing. I'm going to just read, some of the shit that they did to us, all right? Some of the violent shit, all right? It says, it's getting to the point, because he enacted this law that everybody was going to leave their own, we was leaving the law, statutes, commandments, and we was going to follow after their laws, all right? Just like how they bringing in this RFID chip, all right? Fuck what your beliefs are. If you don't take this chip, your ass getting put to death. This is a forerunner of that same thing, man, all right? It says, verse 50, and whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said that he should die. In the self-same manner, he wrote to his whole kingdom and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city. Let me just jump down. This is verse 56. And when they had rent in pieces the book of the law, which they found, they burnt them with fire. So they took the scriptures, they ripped them all up and burned them with fire. Verse 57, and whosoever was found with any of the book of the testament, or if any committed to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death. So if you was reading the Bible back in those days, or you was raising your kids up in those ways, you was to be put to death. Same ways coming today. If you don't take this RFID chip and pledge your allegiance to Esau, Edom, or the damn devil, the commandment is that your ass going to be put to death. Thus they did by the authority unto the Israelites every month, to as many as were found in the city. Verse 60. At which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised. So these women just raising their children up in righteousness according to the law, statutes, commandments, they was put to death. All right. So you women, you not, you women and women with child. Oh, I just had, this ain't gonna happen. I'm protected. I'm a woman. Because women have been put on a high pedestal here in America, man. They're like the first class citizen here in America, man. You can't do first off, women and children first, man. But in these times, man, hey, you're not exempt from this, man. All right, it says, and at that time, verse 16, at that time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised, and they hanged the infants about their necks and rifled the house and slew them that had circumcised them. So just imagine you coming through your damn neighborhood or your city or whatever, whatnot, and you go over to the local overpass, and all you see is a bunch of fucking babies hanging by their necks. Think about the type of terror that's going to be struck into the fear of your mind, man. Oh, if y'all don't give up these Israelites, if y'all don't give up these people, we're going to continue to kill the rest of you people, man. This happens right now today, as we speak right now in Mexico with the cartels, man. All right. It says, that was all I wanted to grab. Let me try to squeeze in two more real quick. Two more real quick ones. Zechariah chapter 13, I'm going to start at verse 8. It says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. And they shall call on my name, and I will hear them, and say, it is my people, and they shall say, Yahweh is my power. Here's what it's basically saying is 2/3 of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you're going to get cut off and die, and all these things that we were reading about, and much more. All right? But nevertheless, the 1/3 is going to be 1/3 and 144,000 going to be brought through that fire, man. They're going to wind up being saved. They're going to endure through all these tribulations. They're going to be delivered up out of this, as we read in the book of Daniel. All right, it's going to be a time of trouble, since there never was a nation even to the same time. All right, or the same thing as Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. All right, and we're going to close out with this in Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. I quoted this twice. This is Revelation 12 and 12. Therefore, rejoice ye heaven, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil has come down on you having great wrath, because he knoweth he have but a short time. So look, man, this is the end all be all. This is the last time the devil gonna be able to bring out that goddamn sword. The last time Israel gonna get their punishment forever going off. The last time we're gonna be wicked. This is the last punishment, man. So this is gonna be the greatest ass whooping of our life, man. All right, so you should pray that you could be kind of worthy for salvation and exemption from this here judgment coming to pass, man. And you need to do whatever you can do. Do whatever you need to do to make your calling and your election sure, so that you may be saved and preserved through these said perils, man. This is what it's talking about being saved, to be delivered from your enemies, delivered from these times of tribulations, man. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, the elect was edified with this here lesson. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught us his truth and that rule well. And citation and much love for you, I can push his truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.